Aegon's lore is a heavy one. This is one of the more messed up characters in the story. Not the most evil, but someone you'd want a psychologist keeping a close eye on. Aegon II was born in 107 AC, 10 years after his older half-sister Rhaenyra. I may as well bring her up off the bat, because these two siblings' lives are very much tied together. King Viserys had Rhaenyra with his first wife, his cousin Aemma. After her death, Viserys quickly remarried to the much younger and very attractive Alicent Hightower. Every character in the story saw the hand Otto Hightower's fingerprints all over the marriage, to elevate the Hightower's position. Rhaenyra was the named heir to the Iron Throne, but Viserys wasn't taken all that seriously. My image of what King Viserys was has changed drastically after House of the Dragon, giving him some extra characterization. The books portrayed him to be a more simpler pushover, but this new complex version on the show does have some cogs turning in his head. He just fell for the Hightower trap because it brought him comfort and happiness in the darkest time of his life. He lost his wife and essentially brother in the span of 24 hours. Oh, and a baby. Many consider the reign of King Viserys to represent the apex of Targaryen power in Westeros. Beyond a doubt, there are more lords and princes claiming the blood of the dragon than any other period before or since. Though the Targaryens had continued their traditional practice of marrying brother to sister, uncle to niece, and cousin to cousin wherever possible, there had been important matches outside the royal family, the fruit of which would play important roles in the war to come. There were more dragons than ever before as well, and several of the she-dragons were regularly producing clutches of eggs. Not all of these eggs hatched, but many did, and it became customary for the fathers and mothers of newborn princelings to place a dragon's egg in their cradles. The children so blessed invariably bonded with the hatchlings to become dragon riders. King's Landing was an endless round of feasts, balls, and tourneys, where murmurs and singers heralded the birth of each new Targaryen princeling. What this quote from Fire and Dragon is getting to is that all these dragon riders growing the family tree meant an internal civil war was inevitable. Pushing baby Aegon's claim for the Iron Throne started immediately. It was Alicent that named her newborn. The name Aegon holds a lot of weight in this world. Pretty much just means greatness. Aegon II may have only been half Targaryen, but he inherited all of his father's traits without any need of incest. While Rhaenyra and Alicent started off the rivalry at King's Landing's core ever since Viserys got his son, Aegon grew up not hating his half-sister. He may have been a little jealous of her because she was Viserys' favorite. She was called the Realm's Delight after all, so it wasn't just Viserys giving her all the attention.
Because he didn't like me.
The King's Hand, Otto Hightower, pushed the topic of naming Aegon the new heir a little too hard and was removed from court. Alicent went with a gentler method of making her son the next king, suggesting to Viserys to have Rhaenyra and Aegon marry. Viserys wasn't having any of that either. Besides Rhaenyra being much older, the king was set on making his firstborn daughter inherit the Iron Throne. If baby Aegon couldn't have his half-sister, he would be betrothed to his full younger sister, Helaena. Being closer in age with Rhaenyra's children, Aegon grew up with them instead, training and being educated together with the strong boys. And he hated his nephews, Viserys, and Joffrey. The idea of clearly base-born kids taking his spot in the line of succession irritated Aegon. He was cool with Rhaenyra being ahead of him. Most nobles consider bastards to be monstrous creatures that inevitably do evil and create problems for the true-born children. Words straight out of Alicent's mouth and into her kids' ears. Viserys hoped having all of them grow up together would bring them closer, but it was a big failure. It only made things worse. When Daemon and Corlys Velaryon found out the king finally had a son, they both instantly despised Aegon. Aegon II represented tremendous losses for them, and they never warmed up to him. Dangerous men to have as your enemy. Dangerous men to have as your enemies. The book's version of Viserys wasn't so against dragon bonding. He just didn't go out of his ways to give any of his babies an egg. They had to do it all on their own. Aegon and Helaena were riders in their early teens. Aegon claimed a unique-looking dragon that hatched in Dragonstone's lairs. We don't have any of the details of their first encounter, but putting the pieces together isn't too difficult. Aegon's written as a very unlikable character, with few knowing his true nature, as all his scandals were hidden away under wraps while he was alive. He had a really good PR team. He overindulges in all of his desires. Calling him lusty is an understatement. Without being given an egg at birth, when he was 10, maybe 11, Aegon had to walk into a dragon lair and either pick out an egg, hatchling, or full-grown beast. A young dragon caught his eye. A splendid creature with gleaming golden scales and pale pink wing membranes. Sunfyre was the name given this dragon of the Golden Dawn. Aegon's young Sunfyre was said to be the most beautiful dragon ever seen upon the earth. A fitting pair considering his palette, its name matching Helena's soon-to-be partner, the much older Dreamfire. Aegon is not stated to be one of the Targaryens who loved flying. though I'm sure he took to flight with his siblings now and again. While it may not seem like it, Aegon actually does love and care for his sister and 2 brothers. It wouldn't have mattered who he married, he would have been extremely unfaithful regardless. He was just too much of a dirtbag. His father couldn't care less about the activities he was participating in behind closed doors. Any blonde kid running around King's Landing could have been Aegon's bastard. By age 22, he had 3 legitimate children with Helena, only 2 on House of the Dragon. Aegon found himself participating in one of the nastier forms of entertainment in the city. Underground child fights, where little street kids had their teeth filed sharp and set on to fight each other for people like Aegon's amusement. He was found in one of these fighting pits on the night his father died, but by this point, watching kids kill each other wasn't enough. A little girl was found pleasuring him during the show. This is one of the lore bits that Aegon's PR team tried to cover up. While the Hightowers were secretly plotting how to crown Aegon before Rhaenyra was ever made aware of Viserys' death, Aegon is actually bothered by it all. Moreover, the prince at first refused to be part of his mother's plans. "My sister is the heir, not me," he says in Septon Euston's account. What sort of brother steals his sister's birthright? Only when Sir Criston convinced him that the princess must surely execute him and his brother should she don the crown did Aegon waver. Whilst any true-born Targaryen yet lives, no strong can ever hope to sit on the Iron Throne, Cole said. Rhaenyra has no choice but to take your heads if she wishes her bastards to rule after her. It was this and only this that persuaded Aegon to accept the crown that the small council was offering him. Aegon wasn't prepped for rule. He was more interested in coasting through a privileged life, divulging in all his sick desires. Fighting on Dragonback would be new to him, and he wasn't all that interested in the training yards either, described as not a warrior in skill or appearance. Sunfyre, still considered a young dragon, even up against Rhaenyra's Syrax, will have to play a major role in the Civil War with so many large dragons on the black side. Aegon changed his faction's Targaryen sigil to match Sunfyre's golden appearance in his honor, and people began calling his beast King Aegon's Glory. Season 2 of House of the Dragon will be a huge one for these 2 characters, after the first season doing all the needed setup.
Do you love me?
You imbecile.
The writers will without a doubt delve deeper into Aegon's character like they did with so many others. The reality of so many people trying to kill you will be an interesting shakeup for Aegon II that I think will lead to some character development. Fun stuff ahead. Let me end things here with the official concept art for Sunfyre, since we only got a blurred shot in the distance of what is the most beautiful dragon in the story. Thanks for watching, guys.